Hey guys, my name's Evan O'Neill. I'm a self-taught software developer. And I just wanted to make a video to show what steps that I took to becoming a software developer, some of the mistakes I made along the way, and kind of just put it out there that if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I really want to make this video to help other people who are maybe on the fence, maybe people who don't know if they can make it as a software developer, maybe people who are kind of stuck in between where they have imposter syndrome. They're not quite ready for a job. So I just want to put this out there. Please like and subscribe. I'll be delivering a lot of content like this, hopefully. So let's jump into my background. So I didn't go to any coding boot camps. I don't have a bachelor's in computer science. I haven't done a lot of Udemy courses. I basically started off about a year ago using YouTube, using Medium articles, using documentation. Basically jumped right into just learning. And I did this all in my free time, well, not at a full-time job, working 40 hours a week. I worked as a salesman for a small company that made robotics and manufacturing parts. I was just working inside sales for them. For about a year before that, I worked on pretty much every kind of construction job that you can think of. I worked in agriculture, I worked in construction, I worked in asphalt, I worked on mechanical things like fixing cars. You name it, I've pretty much done it, just a lot of labor jobs. That was my whole background until then. And while I was at the sales job, I decided, I can't do this forever. I enjoyed the sales. I just wasn't making the money that I wanted to. I really wanted to make my own hours. I wanted to be doing something building, a little bit more creative. And I had heard all these accounts of people on YouTube. I make $100,000. I make $300,000. I'm in Silicon Valley making $1 million with stock options. And I live on the East Coast, so some of that might be outside of my range, but thought, why not give it a shot? So I spent a few weeks or a little bit of time researching videos and looking around, seeing the market availability, kind of decided on jumping right in, learning, doing some tutorials. And I started off doing Python and C# and JavaScript and SQL and all these things that they tell you not to do. I didn't watch any of those videos. I just watched the tutorial videos. And about halfway through that time, I had watched some JavaScript web development videos and really stuck on those and decided, hey, this is something I like doing. It's creative. I can do it. A lot of the guys out there on the tutorial saying, hey, you don't need math background. And I'd done a little bit of math here and there, and I was pretty good at it, but not great. I didn't think like a programmer. I think that that's something that you learn along the way, but I wasn't necessarily a programmer. I had messed around with little electrical trinkets. I could diagnose electrical issues in cars and things like that. So most of my experience was exactly that, just playing around, need to know basis. If I needed to do something in the past, well, I learned it, so I thought of this no differently. And when I jumped in, settled on web development, it was a great way to get your foot in the door, especially with not having any prior experience. So I started off on learning JavaScript, learning web development, CSS, HTML, and started a YouTube channel. And I basically went through all the phases that some of these YouTube channels talk about. You have the imposter syndrome, you have building your portfolio, you have building a resume with no actual jobs coding on it. So instead, I worked on my projects. I committed a lot to GitHub. I built a personal website. I probably could have used Bootstrap or some other front-end library to make it look pretty. But I decided to make the whole thing with vanilla JavaScript, building out everything in CSS, and really went forward, put everything all in on that, and started applying to jobs. I probably applied to 40 jobs, maybe 50. And this was roughly 6 months after I started this journey is when I started applying for jobs. I started applying for jobs in the meantime, coding, designing, basically decided, hey, if I'm lucky enough to get pulled into an interview, I want to kill it in the interview. I want to show them everything I've got. I didn't want to be caught off guard, so I started doing LeetCode. I started doing HackerRank. I started doing all the things that you do to prepare for an interview. And, a couple weeks went by, didn't hear anything. Finally got a call from a company. It's the company that I'm with right now is a associate software engineer. Heard from this company, went through 4-ish weeks or so before I got hired. But I got hired about 6 months ago. I've been working there about 6 months now. But went through a lot of the same things. I actually interviewed with 4 different companies. Most of those companies decided I didn't have the qualifications that they were looking for. They wanted a little bit more experience. They wanted somebody else to take a chance on me, and that's exactly what I was after with this company. I wasn't necessarily looking for a place to call home, to settle down and create a lasting career with 50 years. I needed some experience. I needed to be in a job that I could show I had some experience. I needed to be able to basically get in, work with a company, show my skills, basically grow with a company, grow my skills, bring the two together and see where it takes me. And that's kind of what I've been working on here. So I understand a lot of what you guys are going through, being that I went through it a very short time ago, being that I came from a complete laborer background with no experience in computer science or programming or developing, not knowing what the current standards were, not knowing what the current languages are, going from nothing to being a software engineer in a year is an outstanding accomplishment for me. And I know for you guys as well, it would be an outstanding accomplishment. And I'd actually love to know where you guys came from. You know, if you're coming into coding from a background like mine, where it's labor heavy, where you're a salesman, throw that in the comments down below so I like to see where people are coming from, because I know it was such a journey for me to come from that labor background, that construction background, that hard work, to come into another industry that's using a different kind of energy. You're using your mental energy, you're building things, you're putting components together. But I really enjoy that side of things. I've enjoyed the web development. There's a great community of people out there on YouTube, on Medium, all these different places, Udemy. I basically lived off of that stuff for a long time while I was pouring every free minute into coding. While I was pouring every free minute on my way to work, I would watch tutorials or listen to tutorials and listen to podcasts. And I would basically immerse myself in the programming side of things, just trying to pick up on everything that I could. And to the point where I felt confident enough to apply for jobs. So I hope this video is kind of giving you guys a little bit of background into who I am, what's capable. I'm not the smartest guy out there, had almost no experience in computer science, in programming, and I came from nothing to getting a job as a software engineer. I'm planning on doing a few videos about getting your first job. I plan on giving you guys some ammunition to go into interviews with, maybe a little bit more focus into what I did, a little bit of focus into how I got over some of the issues that all programmers face. I hope that gives you a little bit of ammunition to work with, and I really appreciate you guys for watching. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, comment where you're coming from, comment anything you want to see, anything you want to hear from a guy who's been from nothing to software developer. And I know this isn't the end for me. This is a 1-year transition for me in what I assume will be an amazing career in software development, where I am giving back to the community, number one, but also continually building on my skills. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.